Hi, everyone. Today, I wanted to talk a bit about kind of what we've been dealing with in the world today and kind of what I've been seeing and what I've been experiencing, which is kind of a struggle to find positivity. Um, so I'll just go right into it. Yesterday, I spent basically the entire day looking through social media and falling into rabbit holes of just sad, heartbreaking stories and just nothing but negative media. And the thing is, all of it's real. It's all authentic. They're all real reasons to be upset and concerned. Um, and coming up to this, the past few weeks, I've been unemployed. I've been at home. And, during a stay at home order, I live in the Midwest in Minnesota, and the stay at home order has been in effect since March 18th, I think, about then. I mean, I've been unemployed since then, and it's been extended now to May 18th at least. Um, and I was finishing up my spring semester at school, and now it's all online. So I've had all of my homework online, and I've been trying to get through that. But in the past few weeks, I've just become a bit lethargic, and it comes and goes. Some days I am productive, but there are many days where I just um, sit around. 2 days ago, for example, I sat on the couch all day long. This was yesterday. I sat on the couch all day long. I set an alarm for 8:30 a.m. to start doing things and getting work done. And I didn't get off the couch yesterday until 2 o'clock when I forced myself to get up. I did the dishes. I made a cup of coffee, which I don't like to drink coffee because I have anxiety, but I needed something. And then I hopped in the shower, got dressed, and did a little bit of homework. And honestly, I didn't really start doing homework until after dinner, but I'm glad I did because I did get something done. However, after I got too tired to keep doing homework, I got back onto social media. And I'm someone who tries very, very hard to radiate positivity around me because it's it's so great to know that you can have even the slightest impact on people that's a positive one, even to know that you made someone's day just a little bit better, or maybe you just didn't make it worse. That is really fulfilling to me. So I try very, very hard to be an optimist and to find the positivity and to find the good in the world, even when things are hard. And people tell me I do this to a fault. Like I could find the good in any situation and I could find the good in any person. But I'm glad that I do that because as someone who in the past has been very depressed and has seen some real darkness in this world, I think that if I can offer anything into this world, I hope it's just positivity. Um, but anyway, we live in a really scary time right now. A lot of us are at home with our families or alone. I am very grateful that I have a dog and a significant other, even if my significant other is an essential worker and works a lot. I have that much. It's scary. We're at home with our thoughts, even myself. I'm home alone with my thoughts a lot, and it's hard. And in a world like this, where there are so many things to be worried about and so many things to be scared about, it's really hard to not fall into this just pit of negativity and pit of sadness. Um, and while I was scrolling through Facebook, yesterday is where I got stuck. I started scrolling through videos on Facebook, and if you just keep scrolling, more videos keep popping up. And they were just obscure topics that were just breaking my heart. Like some of them were just random Dr. Phil episodes, and some of them were videos about, people of color being killed. They were just all super gloom and doom sad. And then I started seeing people screaming at each other in the comment sections about, political issues like whether or not we need to reopen Minnesota, people getting angry at other people for their beliefs and their viewpoints on what's going on right now. And it's hard to watch, really, because as someone who, again, tries to find the good in everyone, I try really hard to see everyone's perspective. And I see why people are upset and I see why people want things to reopen, but I also see why it's important for us to be cautious at this time. And I'm not an expert. I will not pretend to be, and I will not give anybody any advice that's unsolicited or any advice at all because I don't know. But it's scary. And in a time like this, the most you can do, and this is what I slept on it. I slept on all these like negative feelings overnight and just tried to like let my brain sort through it all and make sense of it all. And really, the most power that we can have is just what we choose to do in this world. Like, I know that I can't solve the world's problems. And I know that screaming at someone about my opinion on social media or in real life isn't going to fix anything. It's not going to change anyone's mind. It's not going to make people agree with me, and it's not even necessarily justified. Even if you do have a good cause in your heart to scream at someone and tell them they're wrong and try to make them change their mind. So if I have any power, I just believe that it's in what I do on a daily basis and what I choose to focus on. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't acknowledge these like horrible things that are going on in our world and we shouldn't advocate for them, because I do believe in advocacy in any area of something you really care about and something you are truly passionate about. But to completely envelop yourself in the struggles in this world and the sadness in this world is hard. Like, even if you are someone who's advocating for, whatever it is, and that's your cause, and it's something that's a real issue and brings about lots of sadness and lots of concern, you need to have an outlet of positivity, and you need to have an outlet of almost like a positivity check of like bringing yourself back to something that makes you feel good and makes this world feel wonderful. Because like without that, like God, I would just be so sad like all the time. It's so hard. It's very easy to spiral into negative thoughts and a negative outlook. Like in the past when I've been depressed, I've been so like, no matter what you threw at me, no matter what you said, it was a negative outcome. Like I always just saw the worst case scenario, and I did this thing as like a defense mechanism and a coping skill of depression and anxiety, where I've taught myself to expect the absolute worst. And in depression, I always did that, but actually, I still do that today in a different way, to help cope with my anxiety. So what I do when I get into a really negative and anxious thought process of like worst case scenario, which is what a lot of people I think with anxiety do. We think of the absolute worst case scenario in any situation, and we get so scared and we worry so much, like that could happen. What if that happens? Like, oh my God, and we panic. And I know this isn't helpful to everyone, because I've discussed it with other people that I know who have anxiety and it's not helpful to them. But this is what works for me basically, is I let myself go there. I like relax enough, or at least reality check myself enough, where I will say, if the worst thing possible happens in this situation that I am worrying about, then what? What happens then? Like if, for example, you're worried about failing a class, which is super scary. Like if you're in college and you're paying however much for tuition and you're working towards a goal and you're putting pressure on yourself, not attaining that is scary. The idea of failing a class. But what I do is I'll think, oh my gosh, what if I flunk this final and I fail this class? And then I'll think, okay, then what happens next? And that's how I recenter myself. So what I'll then think is, I'll have to retake the class. And obviously that's really the worst case scenario that could happen. And it's like that actually helps me. Facing, at least mentally facing the most negative outcome helps me, because it like regrounds me and makes me realize that even if that worst case scenario happens, my life will still go on. Like I can still choose to keep showing up every day. Like, in that particular situation, if I fail a class, I get up and it's going to suck and it's going to be hard, but I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to, do what it takes. But I get that that's not effective for everyone, because, obviously imagining the worst possible scenario isn't always going to be a good coping skill. But that's what I do. And otherwise, I try really hard to remind myself of the positivities I have in my life, the positive people, like the people I have and the benefits that I have. Like right now, I'm someone who got approved for unemployment benefits, and like that has been a godsend to me. Like I can't even tell you. I'm not someone who makes a lot of money, so I 100% lived paycheck to paycheck. So getting approved for unemployment was like, I'm not kidding you guys. Like that was such a blessing to me. Like I burst into tears. And I see a lot of people judging people for getting unemployments. And I understand when it comes from a place of like, I'm an essential worker and I'm not getting hazard pay. I totally get that. But like, that's been a big blessing in my life. And, I have my dog who I love and brings me joy. And I have a roof over my head. And, there are things in my life that I have to remind myself to be grateful for. So if you're someone who's like really struggling to be positive right now and maybe you're being lethargic and you're sitting around all day, I get it. It's okay. Like, this isn't going to be a time for a lot of us where we're overly productive and getting so many things done, where we're remodeling our houses and power cleaning and reorganizing and attaining goals and, doing really difficult things during what's kind of a difficult time, especially if you're someone who's already been struggling with a mental health issue before this all came about. So if the most you can do is just get through the day, that's great. Like, do that. If the most you can do today is feed yourself, do that. Like, that's enough. If the most you do today maybe is shower, great. That's awesome. Like, we need to be easy on ourselves during this time. It's hard. It is so hard. And I want to just let people know that that's okay. Like, it is so okay to not be productive during this time. It is so okay to fall behind. And like, as someone who struggles with body dysmorphia and is recovered from eating disorder, this time has been hard for me because I have to deal with an extreme lifestyle change that probably is affecting my body. And I don't weigh myself just because it's really triggering to me to see my weight in a number. But like, I know that my body is changing right now. And the only thing that's getting me through it is reminding myself that like, this is an extreme circumstance that we are in. We are in a very different circumstance than any of us have ever experienced in our lifetime, where it's hard to not be sedentary if you are at home all day. It's hard to be active. It's hard to be fit. Our routines are not normal. On a normal day, if I was working, I would be on my feet all day. If I was going to class, I would be walking around from class to class and I would be busy. I would be engaged mentally in something and I wouldn't be constantly so much thinking about food, which I already do. I have PKU. I think about food all the time. But like, it's nice to have the preoccupation of a normal routine to like distract you. Um, and I have to just remind myself that like what I'm going through right now is not normal. So I need to be lenient on myself and I need to expect that my body is going to change. Like, one thing that was really hard for me is like 3 days ago, I tried on a pair of shorts from last summer that I haven't worn. And they're like a relaxed fit and they were baggy on me last summer. And I put them on and they were tight. And again, as someone who's recovered from an eating disorder, that's super triggering, right? Like to put on a pair of clothing that fit you, especially as I try really hard just to like let my body naturally maintain itself and stay within like a natural range, That's how I know that like I'm healthy and like I'm not spiraling in ups and downs because that's what I did when I had disordered eating. I would go in extreme highs and extreme lows in my weight. And what I mean by that is just like, losing a lot of weight or gaining a lot of weight. So maintaining to me is knowing that I'm taking good care of myself. And, I'm not disordered. So anyway, that was really hard, but I had to, again, remind myself like, this is not normal. This is not permanent. This is not forever. Like, and so what if my body needs to change to survive this? Like, that's what we're doing. We're surviving. And that's what's important right now. What's important is that we're not too hard on ourselves and we give ourselves those graces that we need. Like, one thing I have enjoyed during this is that so my significant other is an essential employee, But because I'm always home and he has a new schedule where he is home 4 days a week and working three, I spend a lot more time with him. So we're able to eat meals together a lot. And like, I've really enjoyed that. And I've really enjoyed that the weather has finally gotten nice enough here where I can take my dog on walks. And, like that's been really cool. And I've loved seeing like food bloggers sharing tons of recipes. And I've loved seeing my PKU family on Facebook and Instagram sharing about PKU Awareness Month this month and sharing, their experiences and sharing recipes, which I love because I'm a lazy cook. Like, even if I don't follow a recipe exactly, I love being able to just like play around with it and be like, oh, I've never tried that kind of noodle. Like, I want to try that out. Like, last week I saw someone eating glass noodles and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make glass noodle and vegetable stir fry. And I threw something together. And it's just, that's really fun. And I really enjoy cooking food for my partner, even though I cook them things that like I can't eat. Um, but yeah, that's my whole point. And I could sit here and ramble about every different topic that's run through my head in the last 3 months or whatever, 2 months. But like, all I want you guys to take from this is just that, like, be easy on yourselves and try to find the positivity in all of this because it sucks, frankly. This is an awful situation to be in. And I see a lot of my PKU warriors on here fighting with their own mental health battles. And I see you and I feel you and I'm here for you. Like, I know how hard it is. And I can't imagine, like, had I been in the peak of my depressive stages and stuck at home like this, I can't even imagine where my mind would be going right now. Like, I'm really struggling just as someone who has anxiety. Like, and I treat my anxiety like, my anxiety is not the worst it's ever been. So, like, I see you. If you're struggling right now, I'm here for you. Reach out, and try to surround yourself with positive outlets. And by that, I don't mean like being active. I mean, that's great if you can do that. That's great to sit outside and get fresh air, but like, I just mean surrounding yourself by positive outlets of like, if you do spend time on Facebook, unfollowing negativity, and like on Instagram, if you are seeing posts that are upsetting you, unfollow those. Or if you're like in your search page and you're scrolling, you keep seeing things that are upsetting to you, you can literally like hide them. And Instagram eventually will stop showing you things that are upsetting to you. Like, it will eventually like categorize that. Like, myself, I have not reported, but like hidden every time I've seen like a weight loss transformation or like diet advice. I hide those every time. And now, like, thankfully, it doesn't suggest stuff like that for me, but every once in a great while I do. And that's good. And like, sometimes I'll just search like positive stories or, watch the Ellen DeGeneres show. Like, just giving yourself even a few minutes of watching positive content or viewing positive things is so healing. Like, maybe just looking at a photo album, calling up a relative or a friend and chatting on the phone for a little while and asking what's new, like that's really helpful to you and it might be really helpful to them. Um, whatever you can do, whatever you feel like you have enough in you to do, because I know, like, myself, I don't have it in me to go be physically active or to accomplish huge goals right now. I don't. But I can maybe manage to, stretch or do the dishes or take a shower or watch a YouTube video from Ellen or something like that. Like, that is the kind of thing that I'm trying to do and I'm trying to do to stay positive. So, I'm hoping you guys are taking anything from this video that's making your day a little brighter. Here, this is totally a personal positivity for me, but like, this is my puppy. She is cute and small, and she cuddles next to me all day, every day. Her name is Penny, by the way. She's appeared in a couple of my videos on YouTube if you follow me. But yeah, like, just anything you can do, like, that makes you feel good. Like, yesterday I went to Trader Joe's and I bought some eucalyptus and some purple wildflowers, and like, that was just something that made me feel good. And like, yeah, I went there on a grocery run that like maybe wasn't 100% necessary, but I've given myself that allowance of like, for my mental health, I need to get out of the house and like, I enjoy grocery shopping. So, like, sorry, but I went grocery shopping. um, and like that's okay, those allowances. And that's the kind of thing that I'm seeing where like we need to stop judging people and we need to stop like assuming that we know better. Like judging people for how they're acting in this time is really unfair and really unreasonable because we are all struggling on our own. We're all struggling with our own battles and our own issues and our own personal demons. Like, please just allow people to cope with this however they need to. Like, it's we're all doing the best we can in a really difficult circumstance. So, whatever your joy you can find today, if you want to message me, I'll send you like a funny meme or a positive quote or something, just something that makes me smile. Seriously, like leave me a comment, drop a message. I will send you something like just in hopes of making you smile. I'll send you a message if that's what you want. If you want to talk, if you just want to chat and like be heard and like whatever with what you're going through, seriously, like I'm here. I'm going to try to be a positive outlet for people as well as myself. And like that might help me too, like to talk to someone else and, hear their struggles and try to share positivity with them. So yeah, like whatever you can do today to make your day a little bit better, whatever you can do to make yourself smile or maybe make someone else smile, like do it if that's something that you have in your power right now. And again, if you're struggling, reach out. Like you're not alone. Like someone cares, someone wants to help, someone wants to be there for you, I promise. And someone wants to make you smile, and that someone might be me. Like anyway, have a wonderful day and be gentle with yourself. Take care and thanks for tuning in.